I'm glad that opened to us because I honestly had no idea what was happening once that. I don't know how to do it before. So that's good. Just thought we could talk. Me and Ross are going to be talking about Tottenham. All things bad, nothing good, possible hope for the future. But because we're still starting and no one really watching, I've just had to miss the final of Catchphrase, which is really upsetting. It was on just.
How devastating.
And secondly, Jay's just tweeted, "This should be fun," with a horny devil face. So shame on Jay. I think.
Okay.
And finally, I just thought we could quickly talk about some memories about Tottenham, Ross, before we get into this, and so the stream can continue for a little bit, because Arsenal obviously played Benfica, which brings back wonderful memories of such a beautiful night of Tottenham playing Benfica.
What a wonderful night.
Yeah, a wonderful night of the centre partnership between Seki Friars and Sandro. It actually popped up on Twitter.
Arguably better than our current centre backs.
It actually popped up on my Twitter the other day of Sherwood's post-match press conference. I'm not sure why. Sherwood going, that manager fancies himself a bit, doesn't he? Yep. And it was just like, what? How far Tottenham have come, which is quite apt for what we are talking about, because that feels like so long. I know that wasn't the worst Tottenham's been, but even that feels like so long ago.
Yeah, it
was
still a while ago, but like ages ago.
It really does. So I think what we're doing today. Well, no, I know what we're doing. I've got it written down. What we're going to be doing today, Ross, is we're going to be talking, as the title suggests, about what is wrong with Tottenham. However, we're going to try and be a bit positive about it. We're going to talk about the recent past, present, and the near future. They're what we're breaking this down to, and we're going to try and not have a Pochettino wankfest. Can't promise it won't turn into that personally, but we will see. Me and you both listened to the High Performance podcast today with Pochettino. About building a team with compassion was the title, I believe, and I miss him. I miss him.
Yeah, I miss him. I just want him to be around, to be honest.
Yeah, not even mad. Just hanging about the stage, just kit man.
Yeah, I don't know what another manager would have to do for me to love them more than I love Pochettino. I honestly think if Mourinho somehow managed to win the treble this season, I would probably still be like, I love Poch more. I'm sorry.
It is difficult. I did tweet that. I did tweet out the other day. Like, I think I was in a particularly bad mood after the West Ham game, and I tweeted out, I think I like Pochettino more than I like Tottenham, and obviously that's not true. However, there is an element of truth in there, especially when you're angry at Tottenham, and you look over at this man that they discarded. Like, there is an element of, maybe I should just go and support PSG, although they lost to Monaco recently. I forgot to talk about that with you in the pre-chat, but they did lose to Monaco.
Yeah, they're not doing that great still, are they?
They're letting who is it? It's Lille. They're letting Lille run away with it at the moment.
Yeah. They're like Lille and Lyon are both above them, and Monaco are catching them up.
So we will begin with my little Mourinho theory, I guess. Obviously, Ross has had to hear this once before. He's going to have to hear it again. Have you ever seen the first Captain America, Ross?
I have, yes.
Yes, right. So the reason they picked Steve Rogers is because not only does the serum enhance his muscle. I watched it last night, by the way. Me and Yara watched it. That was fresh in my head. Not only does it enhance his muscles and his strength and his capabilities, Ross, but it also enhances the good in him, right? And what am I saying here? I'm saying that Mourinho is like Captain America. No, I'm not. I'm saying Mourinho is like the serum that Captain America is given. Tottenham is Captain America, because I think Mourinho comes in, and admittedly, I've left Porto out because Porto is an outlier of astronomical proportions to do what he did at Porto. Amazing.
Yeah, which is mad.
When he came into Chelsea in 2004, they had just finished top four after getting to top four, not winning a title and dropping to fourth, coming up.
Yeah, and they'd spent a lot of money as well in that sort of first season.
They gave Ranieri a lot of money, where he brought, I think, was that the year he brought Duff in? Yeah,
it's like Duff, they're on Wayne Bridge was brought in for a lot of money.
Sorry, just there we go. Brilliant. So Mourinho comes in, and obviously on top of all this goodwill that's around Chelsea, he gets Abramovich money. Yeah. And there's this wave, and Mourinho can ride this wave. I'm not saying anything about Duff, Jay. Fuck off. And he rides this wave. Inter Milan, they've won back-to-back titles under Mancini. The only reason they get rid of Mancini really is because of the failure in Europe. Mourinho comes in, takes them to that next level. Goes back to Chelsea again in a period of winning leagues. Eden Hazard's doing what Eden Hazard does. There's good vibes until eventually, like all of these jobs, Madrid as well, obviously. Madrid.
Yeah. Madrid he does all right. I think he sort of runs Guardiola out of town as well, really.
Yeah, exactly. Because he wins a league. He doesn't win a Champions League, but he wins it.
Yeah, but I think he just manages to win a league at the end, and then I think it sort of goes a bit wrong. But,
yeah, and he's the one that wants Bale, isn't he? He's like fully wants Bale, and then Ancelotti. Yeah. So anyway, so he comes to United, and that from day one was not good, and that's because United were coming down. This is the first time Mourinho's joined a downwards trajectory, I think, and it showed. And I think quite obviously Spurs are not in the best trajectory when Mourinho has joined.
Yeah, quite clearly. We were in like relegation form in the league. Even though we did have that Champions League amazing run, we'd been in that form for a while in the league as well.
Exactly. So for me, I'm not Mourinho out. I'm not sat here going, I want him out of my club. But I am sat here going, I don't see a future where, I see a future where maybe, and then this is mad because I'd obviously take it. I see a future where we get to the final, maybe win the Europa League. I see a close 30% chance of beating City in the Carabao Cup, which,
Right,
are more. Sorry, just actually, Pat, if you want to, I'm not saying it is Mourinho's fault that Spurs are bad. I'm saying that Mourinho cannot fix what is bad. I'm saying that Spurs are bad, but Mourinho maybe isn't the man. But we'll get there. We'll get there. So I maybe see a trophy, maybe, which is obviously fantastic. It's been since 2000. It's been 13 years yesterday, I believe, was the
yeah, 13 years yesterday since Woodgate's scrappy little header.
It was. I actually asked Adam this yesterday. Is that the worst final winning goal?
Yeah, probably.
I can't think of a word.
Just gets punched into his nose.
When I think of like final winning goals, I see that cross to Goetze in the final.
Or the Gareth Bale.
The Gareth Bale overhead kick. You see Adair for Portugal, daisy cutting one from 30 yards.
Yeah.
And then it's just Woodgate. It's just Woodgate. You see Gareth Bale running off the pitch to run back on, and it's all Gareth Bale. Anyway. Crap, where was I? Anyway, that my point is basically, I don't see a future as a long, successful future. If Mourinho can come and sit down and say, you know what, I want to spend the entire, I'm happy at Chelsea now, and this is where I want to be, and it doesn't go right for him, I don't see how it goes right for us in the long term.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what a lot of people said when he was first appointed as well, wasn't it? How it's like, it's probably not going to last long, and it'll probably end in tears, which...
But we might win something along the way.
Yeah, I think that's basically the plan, isn't it? Hopefully win something. Because he is just sort of that catalyst to make a team that hasn't won anything yet win something. Or a team that's winning but hasn't won a certain trophy yet, he'll get them over the line.
Yeah, and even if we just win the Carabao Cup, it'll have been deemed a success, in my opinion. But then the questions. For me, while we're talking about the past and while we just get the Pochettino things out of the way, there's a few quotes from the High Performance podcast. So I think mine and your favourite quote from that was that Pochettino doesn't work with footballers. He works with young men who happen to play football, and that's why he brings, he's a father figure to these players. And Mourinho is many, many things, but as a father figure, he is not. I think.
Yeah, I think he's even
there's a lot
in a quote. He's like, it might even have been in the All or Nothing. He said like, "I can't be your dad" to Dele Alli or something like that. Something along those lines.
He said, yeah, he did, because me and you laughed at that because obviously not laughed, but obviously Dele Alli's quite public situation with his father. It was not an appropriate thing.
Yeah, it was like the worst person to say it.
So yeah, I think Mourinho, Pochettino's a father, Mourinho's a cult leader. And I was walking today and I was trying to formulate the conversation today. And it's a very difficult conversation to have. And I think that the conversation really between Poch and Mourinho boils down to, you can have both manage your clubs, but I think you need a middleman between the fact that we've gone from Pochettino, who has said that when he had a training session planned and he noticed negative energy from a player, he'd throw the training session out the window just to focus on building the morale back up. And whenever there was a problematic player, his first thing would be you have to find out why and then fix it with them. Like this mentality. And then to go instantly to Mourinho, where the first sign of trouble, see you later, Dele Alli.
Yeah, I mean,
it
has seemed to work with Ndombele. That sort of tough love eventually worked, but it looked for until like I think Levy had to step in, didn't he, to get it to work, but it has worked eventually.
Yeah, and like I think Sissoko and Aurier have played a massive part in that, haven't they? According to the documentary.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They were sort of like, well, Sissoko's the best example, isn't he? Of like,
yeah, exactly. So and that proves that Pochettino could have done it as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
As well, because Sissoko looked like no matter what Ndombele looked like, Sissoko truly looked like a lost cause, and there are still, unlike Ndombele, there are still a very big argument that Sissoko is not of the quality to be at Tottenham. However, he definitely, for me, deserves to be at Tottenham at the moment over weeks.
Well, even just on Wolves break, like
exactly, and it's costing us a Champions League. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, I guess that's the past. Me and you never. It's difficult. We never agree with the Pochettino stacking, but we also understand that's football, and we also understand 5.5 years. There's a guy on Twitter called Windy who got a lot of stick saying that he wouldn't trade the 2.5 years under Prime Poch for like 10. I think he said 10 trophies, and even though that might be slightly excessive, it doesn't completely. It doesn't completely baffle me that, because I do understand. I would like 10 trophies, but also, have you ever enjoyed football as much?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, there's more to football than just winning trophies. Obviously, that's the end goal. That's what you want to do. But also, it would be nice to watch your team playing amazing football every week and winning a lot.
And hopefully, Joe's not right. But me and Ross are quite unanimous in the fact that I wouldn't be the Tottenham fan I am, and probably wouldn't have. If Ross had shown me Man City, if Ross came along as a Man City fan, showed me Man City, I probably wouldn't have gone for it as much as I did to Tottenham. You couldn't persuade me to swap being a Tottenham fan for this Chelsea. Not that's the wrong way to word it, but I think the best way I said was to you at the start of this, before we went live, or as I said, if me and you sat and watched Tottenham under Abramovich win a league, we'd obviously be happy, but would we gloat? Could we gloat? Could we really gloat about it?
When you've got all that money, you should be winning anyway.
And we're like, and when you boil it down, it's like, we win the league. You've had £1 billion spent on you, and and like a Bournemouth fan will just be looking at you like, fuck off. Like, we're different. We should be closer. But we won the league by beating Bournemouth, Palace, Fulham. Great. Like, obviously we want that, but there are ways to do it, and that person I don't agree. That's Tottenham's past done. What we're going to move on to now is we're going to go through the squad as quickly as we can, and we're going to have what did we decide? We have a starting, first team player, not necessarily. Hey, Benfica are in the lead. Jay's just,
nice.
And it's an away goal as well, so they need 2.
So Arsenal need 2. Oh, lovely.
Sandro's coming. He's going to tackle someone. So we're going to go through the squad, and not necessarily a starting 11 player, but like a first team player, because obviously when it comes to our forwards, there's a discussion. We couldn't just have first team player, bench player, someone who deserves to be at the club, but deserves to be a backup for when someone's injured for the games against. Oh God, I almost said Burnley then, which would fucking curse us for the weekend.
Just your Wolfsburgers sort of game.
Your Wolfsburgers, and then who just needs to be moved on, because A, you could get money for them. B, it doesn't even mean they're bad if we want to move them on. Just like for the prime example, we're going to be talking about Hugo Lloris first, and I love Hugo Lloris. Is it time for him to move on for £15 million and there's reinvest money? we'll start there, Ross. Hugo Lloris.
Yeah. I mean, there's the rumours that are pretty strong that Poch wants him at PSG, and to be honest, I think it's probably about. It just feels right. Which sounds a bit weird. He's done a pretty good job for us. There's Bayer Leverkusen save, which was just absolutely unbelievable while he rolls over the line. There's so many highlights of good moments.
The Liverpool save in the 4-1 was perhaps the highlight of any of the goals. Do you remember where he
just
I love him, and I think he's the reason we've kept him for so long. Partly is because he's won a World Cup, and I think you can survive being at a club like Tottenham if you have a World Cup under your belt.
Yeah.
I think it makes it easier. I would keep him personally, but I understand that now might be a good time to get rid, and also might be good for his own mental health.
Well, yeah.
So, upgrade, I guess, is the word. So, Ross, do we upgrade? Do we keep? What do we do with Lloris?
I think we sell Lloris and replace him with a
someone who I don't mention at the end.
Someone who I may be discussing at the end. I've got in mind.
Okay, right, it's early days for him, Ross. But Matt Doherty, what happens there?
Matt, I think we keep him, but I think he's a bench player. To be honest,
yeah, I completely agree. I think as well.
I think he's just there to motivate Serge Aurier. That's all he's there for.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think he reminds me. I think he is just Trippier, isn't he? He's an Irish. Yeah, like he's got a good ball on him, but he's not Kyle Walker. He's not.
Yeah, he doesn't have great pace, and he doesn't seem to be the best defender. So not ideal in a right back.
No, Arsenal have equalised, apparently. Sorry, I'm going to keep you informed on this, but yeah, Arsenal have equalised. But, still put Benfica in the lead. Cool, right, so a bench player. Doherty is a bench player.
Yeah.
We can move past this next one incredibly quickly, I think. Reguilon is his starting player.
Yeah, obviously.
Starter, Madrid, go away. A bit more of a complex one, Alderweireld.
Well, this all obviously rumours are just rumours, but there's a lot of rumours about him leaving to clubs that seem like below his station. So I feel like we want to get rid of him. To be honest, I don't understand why he doesn't start every week, but I feel like Jose must not have confidence in him. And he hasn't seemed the same since Vertonghen lost his form, really.
I was going to say, well, on Vertonghen, would we perhaps have said that Benfica was below Vertonghen's station when he left?
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
So what's the verdict on him? I probably think I love Alderweireld, and I think he is our best defender, but due to the fact that we don't seem to be playing him, for that logic, it might be time to move him on.
It might be time to move him on, but I love him too much, so I want to keep him. But I feel like we will move him on.
I completely agree.
I don't want it to happen, but I didn't want Vertonghen to leave either.
So is he a bench? By that logic, is he a bench player because he's a good?
I'd say so. I'd like to see him starting some games and then coming out for some games like he is at the moment, while we bring in somebody new, maybe.
Managed better.
Sorry, what was that?
So a first-team player, but managed better than he currently is.
Yeah.
Favoured him for the games that we need him in. Next one, pretty easy. Højbjerg, first 11.
Højbjerg, yeah, first 11.
Cool. Next one, again, a bit more tricky. £40 million spent on him. Davinson Sanchez.
Sell him. Sorry, it's just very, very
How do we get for Davinson Sanchez nowadays?
I don't think we'd get the 40 million for him, but I reckon we could probably get 20 or 30 because there's still still people who might believe he'll still build on his potential because he's still young, but he just doesn't seem to learn from.
Point, Ross.
Yeah. But Sanchez, he has the raw talent, but he's had how many years to build on that and to cut out the mistakes, and it's the same mistakes every time.
Yeah, I remember, and I link places. Do you know this is kind of irrelevant, but do you know the woods down by Vicarage? You know the really steep slope?
Right, yeah.
That slope, directly in my mind, for years now, has been linked with Tony Pulis being sacked from Stoke. And I don't know why. So, in the same way, I remember being sat in Manchester Wagamamas listening to someone speaking about Davinson Sanchez when we first signed him, saying, I was talking over as well, this is such a good signing, and the only drawback for Tottenham is there is no way that this signing is not just a stepping stone for a Barcelona, Real Madrid. And this was like a Dutch football expert. And I was like, my God. There we go. Sanchez is actually okay, but Dyer is not going to win a title.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair to point out flaws in Dyer, but I don't think that makes Sanchez any better.
The issue is,
I don't think you're setting him a high bar.
Dyer's a few players away, but when we talk about Sanchez and Dyer, the issue is that, Dyer, I think, is more versatile. He's played right back.
Dyer's more versatile. Also, he's been moved to centre-back later than he should have been, really.
Yes.
So I think the more games he plays, the better he should get.
And also, I think Dyer's had a lot more good moments than Sanchez over the years, obviously.
Yeah, because Sanchez good moments, rattle off a top 2.
That's not.
He scored 2 goals in a defeat against Everton.
Quite an easy one. This next one, Son
stay, obviously. Stay.
Start. Harry Winks, Ross. Harry Winks.
Well, sort of an initial gut feeling based on how well he plays would be to sell him. But also, he's just so cute. Every time a goal goes in when he's on the pitch, look how much he loves it. So
yeah,
I think maybe a bench player, but I don't. He's pushing his luck.
I think he's a bench player next year, but then after that, he's got another year of goodwill. He doesn't score goals. He doesn't get assists. But,
Yeah, but sometimes he has a good game. So I think it's worth keeping around for when players have picked up injuries.
All right, so just one sec here because a cool has come in, and a cool Nagelsmann is a topic. We're going to get through the players. Please tell us what you think of the players. We do get to Nagelsmann.
We will get
no spoilers, but we do. Right, Bale is an interesting one now because obviously not our player.
Well, I think Bale would depend. If to keep him, we'd have to sign him, pay those full wages of what is it, 600 grand a week or something he's on at the moment. Then absolutely not. That would be insane. But if we were to get him and to maybe sign him and have him cut down his wages or get him on another loan.
You have an option for a second year of the loan. I thought we did.
I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I think he's showing signs that he should stay. Because I think if he's on top form, he should be starting now because he is getting to that form.
Absolutely. For me,
I'd say keep him at the moment. But if you'd asked me 3 weeks ago, I'd have said no, don't get him back. But
for me,
showing that form again.
I've kind of changed keep them to starter. So we've now got starter, bench, and sell. That's what we're doing now. So I think he's a starter. Okay. I think he was so unlucky not to get the equaliser, against West Ham.
Yeah.
Yesterday's goal was phenomenal, and he needs
the one last week where he does that chop back and then sends that defender dust. Outrageous.
Yeah. For me, when that Tottenham are that bad at the moment, persist with him and hope that we get gold back in return.
Yeah.
We'll get to Bergwijn soon, but what's we got to what have we got to lose there? He's better than Berg. And we'll move swiftly past Kane because he needs to be sold. No, okay.
Of course, get him out of my club.
Right, we'll whiz through these next two at least, because time-wise, Lamella.
Yeah. Sell, injury prone.
Yeah, I will always love Lamella, but I think he's fun. But yeah, sell. Joe Hart.
Joe Hart. I want to sell him, but he's going to stay.
Bench.
Yeah, bench.
Cool. Right, for me, first actual player that we can have a discussion about, maybe, because the next in the number list for me, he's a starter, and it's Joe Rodon.
Joe Rodon. I want to see him playing at least more games. I think Josie's been way overly cautious with him, only playing him in a back three, which doesn't suit us at all.
Mm.
If our defenders are playing badly, I don't know what Joe Rodon's doing not to get in the squads. I think he should be starting. There's that story about him where I think he got rejected by a club and he pinned it on his door to motivate him. I think he just needs a photo of Sanchez Dyer and Alderweireld on his door and to be like, I can't get past them in their form at the moment.
For me, there's been that shaky moment against Chelsea where Timo Werner scored the offside goal. He had a really bad moment in another game, didn't he? But then didn't put a foot wrong. I can't remember. Was it?
Yeah, it tends to be when he starts a game, he's a little bit nervous, and then he grows into them. Really,
but for me, that's because he's not playing. So for me, Rodon is a nailed-on starter for me.
Yeah, just playing in more. At least playing in more games.
We've discussed this previously. So Eric Dyer bench.
I'd say bench. Yeah, I'd like to see sort of him and Toby rotating really, because they can both like Lord of the Pings for all their defensive players.
Cool. Musa
Sissoko, bench player, I think.
Bench player. I like it. I think that's fair. Don't need to really elaborate why. He works hard, but is he of the quality? Giovanni Lo Celso. Such a confusing player. Confusing.
Another Argentinian injury prone player. I don't know.
Is he just Lamella, Ross? Will we ever get 20?
Yeah, is he just Lamella?
Assists?
Will our medical team forgive the Falklands? It's hard to know.
Yeah, but I don't know. For me, he has to start if fully fit, but only.
If you give me the option of starting Dele or starting Lo Celso, I'm starting Dele every time. I know he's coming up soon, but
that's really absent now because Cool has asked for it. What to do with Dele? And obviously, we don't have a 19 because it's Sesson Young. Dele and Lo Celso are right next to each other with 18 and 20 on the squad numbers. So Lo Celso and Dele, I guess, fight for that cam spot.
Yeah, I'd have them fighting it out because I think having them fight out will motivate Dele as well. But the way he played in that game last night, the Vicey outrageous. But never mind that. He got two assists. There was another one where he put in an outside foot cross where Vinicius should have got on it.
Make the run.
He was just brilliant.
As a Cool says here, does Lo Celso swap with Dele or Ndombele?
Well, I think he can swap with both, really, because I think Ndombele's going to move to centre mids by the looks of it, because that's where he's been starting. And then it's going to be Lo Celso and Dele sort of find out at cam. But I think Lo Celso could play that centre mid role as well. Cool. Or they could switch positions.
So I guess with the Celso, this is the first one. I know I've said starter, sell, or bench, but this is the first one where maybe I'll write rotate next to Lo Celso.
Yeah, because like,
And then
he's not as creative as you'd like a Cam to be, but I still think he's a good player.
And then me and you are fully in the Dele Alli camp. Start Dele Alli, and that's your answer.
Absolutely.
Dele Alli is better, and this. You know, if a hot take is what we need here, Dele Alli is better than James Maddison. Dele Alli is better than Mason Mount. Dele Alli is better than Jesse Lingard. Dele Alli is on a level, maybe not better, with Jack Grealish. Dele Alli has lost his way at the moment, but is a generational talent that are comparable with Gerrard, Lampard, and Scholes and Beckham at his age.
Like I think obviously stats recently haven't been good, but like the start out of the blocks, unbelievable how young he was, how well he was playing, and he just will get goals as well. He will get goals.
These guys don't like it. They don't like the hot take, Ross. But they don't.
They don't like it.
They don't like it. They don't like
they
it.
Like Dele.
We stick by it. You know, he's lost his way, and I'm not saying that right this second he's that level, but I promise you, if you can get it out of Dele Alli, he is so good. He had like twice. I think by the age of 22, he had more goals and assists than Gerrard, Lampard, and Scholes combined.
Yeah,
he's so good.
Obviously, he doesn't have that anymore. And he may not be as good as he could have been, but
he might not.
Incredible.
At the moment, it looks like he won't fulfill his potential. But I promise you, if everything went right for Dele Alli from day one to the end, if everything went perfectly, and I know you can say that about a lot of players, he's so good. He's so good.
Yeah. I mean, he just needs to start.
And he's worth starting. And we move on, no matter what, you know, to Sessegnon, because he's on loan. Well, in fact, we're going to really rattle through these quickly. Sessegnon, bring back and bench.
Yeah. Especially with, sorry to, when it's supposed to be a quick one, but especially with when we've got Davies, we just can't attack on that left-hand side, really. I think he'd be a really good option to have as a left
back. So, yeah, cool. Foyth, sell.
Yeah, sell. He's gone already.
Gazaniga should be benched, but it's sell because Joe Hart will not be sold.
Yeah, it's sell because Joe Hart will not be sold.
Steven Bergwijn. And please, tell me what you think of Steven Bergwijn in the comments, please, because
I mean, obviously the huge problem with him is
we also lost that
goal, but
horrendously, though. Let's not forget.
Yeah, in a horrendous game.
But I really like Sessegnon, and at the moment he doesn't seem to be playing for Hoffenheim as much as he should.
He's picked up an injury, that's why. But
he's on bench tonight.
Oh, okay. So he's just coming back from injury then. But I think he's a better option than Davies, and he can be a good bench option as like a winger as well.
I think he's a really, really good player. But here we go. I assume this is about Bergwijn. Can't finish.
Yeah, that's the big problem. That's what I was just going to talk about. Like, he's a winger, and he hasn't scored a goal yet. I'm sure once he gets that goal, he'll probably build on that.
Not scored.
Be a better player. No, this season.
Oh right, okay.
This season, like he's played pretty much almost every Europa League game and hasn't scored, which is worrying. But
no, yeah, and yesterday, not obviously halfway through, but at the start, I really believed that was his day for a goal.
Yeah, he did seem up for it at the start, and then like his first few shots didn't come off, and then suddenly he was like passing it instead of shooting. So he is low on confidence. So I'd keep him because I think if he gets that confidence, he'll build on that. But
he's a bench, but with a little asterisk of like there is a chance he will become better. Right, Serge Aurier is the starter, and maybe that's a difficult one because he's a starter now, but ideally we'd find a dream right back, but
Yeah,
right now,
ideally Reguilon would be cloned as a right back.
So right now he's a starter, and I have devastating news that Bamyang's just scored.
Oh, heartbreaking.
Which puts them ahead in the tie. Anyway, right, Tanganga.
Tanganga, bench player again. Like,
hopefully will become better, but you know,
he does seem injury prone, so whether he will, I don't know. But
Moura, Lucas Moura.
I think sort of bench, sort of like because he's still good sometimes. I mean, you don't want him to be starting every game, but he's got that work rate. He really works for the team, and when he wants to, he can run. I've seen him with my own eyes at Old Trafford absolutely tear them apart. He can do it.
He can. He doesn't. Really quick one. Ndombele is the starter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oliver Skip.
Oliver Skip, I think he will sort of orient.
All right. Yeah, no, I agree. And he's there to push. He's there to push Aurier. And this one, Moura is brilliant. He can be brilliant, and he is brilliant, but he often isn't.
That's the problem with Moura. He can be so much better than he is, so he is frustrating. But I think he's definitely
described Moura as the slowest, pacey player I've ever seen because he just refused to run. Oliver Skip, for me, not a starter, but he's such a first team player next season.
Yeah, like I think he is sort of like, I can see him and Højbjerg being like a base of the midfield.
Well, you need a player to sit in when Højbjerg has played too many games.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
He can sit in for Højbjerg in games where we need to. We can sit in with him. He just seems like he'll replace Sissoko as well eventually over time.
Exactly, he is. And for that reason, I've written bench. But Ben Davies.
Ben Davies is like, I think there's a stat where, apart from the recent games against Wolfsburger, we hadn't won any games where Doherty and Davies had played. And
sorry.
Which I suppose brings Doherty into it a bit, but our record with Davies compared to Reguilon, there's a huge difference in that, and that's because we go so lopsided. Teams just shut us off on the sort of right-hand side because they know up the left, Ben Davies. Yeah. So I'd say you'd sort of keep him because he's versatile, but
for me,
he's not going to set the world alight.
He is a bench player. He is the epitome. He's the most bench player I can think of. However, we need to move past Ben Davies as a team, and only for that reason do I select Sell. Because he's not going to win anything with Ben Davies at left back, and I like him as a player. He's solid. He would be solid for. I don't even want to say Everton because they're doing far better than us at the moment. But you know what I mean?
He'd be solid for like a Leicester, I could see.
Again, much better than us at the moment. But
I know.
He's not the player that's going to take us forward. So for only that reason, I'm going to be. That's the harshest one. Is Sell. The harshest sell on there. And finally, to end this list is Vinicius.
Vinicius is a weird one because it's like I would keep him if it wasn't for 30 mil. Like that seems a lot.
I thought we already signed.
No, he's on loan, and then we've got the option to sign him for 30 mil.
No, mad.
I think it's just presumed we'll take that up, but I think he's probably more worth like 15 mil than 30.
He is, but the issue with it is not the issue necessarily. The good thing about Vinicius is he's proven that he can get those goals, against FA Cup opponents, early stage Europa opponents, games where Harry Kane would currently not be playing for us. He's worth benching just because set the World Europa League alight, Ross. He's worth benching because of how much it helps Kane, and anything that helps Kane is all right in my book.
Oh yeah, that's true. But it's one of, even though he has scored a lot of goals, his general play hasn't been that great. Like I've been a bit. It's weird. I don't think I've ever been disappointed in a player that scored more goals. If that sort of makes sense. Like his goal ratio is really good, but you just think he just needs that little bit more. But he's still got time.
Okay, to round that up, Ross, the concerning thing about this is, out of our entire squad, we have just determined that we have 9 starters. Which is Reguilon, Højbjerg, Son, Bale, Kane, Roden, Dele, Aurier, Dombele. Yeah.
To be fair, Lloris is a starter if we don't sell him. So
I mean, no, yes, obviously, and that will, we'll try and wrap this before we get to ours. So that'll lead on to the next point. Is I've given Ross a task of just. I said 3, but it doesn't have to be 3. You can go out and get rid. Let's say it, because I think now that we've been through it, you'll have a clear idea. Sell 3 players. Buy 3 players. If you don't get to 3, it's fine. But sell 3, buy 3. Ross. Who do we realistically bring in?
So I've seen a lot of rumours of linking Lloris away and linking us with English goalkeepers. And I think Dean Henderson. I think that'd be a perfect fit, really. He's a great goalkeeper. But I don't see him moving De Gea out of the way, even though he's arguably better than in terms of De Gea makes more mistakes. But
yeah, I mean, he's made a fair few mistakes, but then again, you've got Maguire and Lindelof in front of you, so maybe you've got to cut him some slack. And if you give him the sort of platform that Sheffield United gave him, very different story. So I completely agree with that. I think just for the future and for a goalkeeper that could be a goalkeeper for the next 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that'd be a great signing, especially like his rumoured value is around sort of 30 million. We could still get a decent price for Lloris.
They've slapped on him, but maybe we could swap for.
Yeah, we could probably give him some money and then maybe just sneak Gazaniga along as well. Like, he's good as a second.
Bad news. That is Arsenal through.
No.
Sorry, Vertonghen, you tried, but it wasn't good enough. Cool. Right. So, the 2, Ross, a sell and a buy.
Sell Davinson Sanchez, and the reason for my pick is I think we could get him for less money than we'd sell Sanchez for, and that is Sven Botman from Lille. Because French clubs desperately need money. So with the whole TV rights situation there at the moment, which is a whole other thing. But
yeah, we won't. I don't think we have time to get into that. But I've written Botman / Skriniar. That's what I wrote. Skriniar, I don't think is realistic now, but still. He's a good player, and he's much like Ericsson, who is the player I wrote down as well. Both have been brought into the plans more. Akul has just said, is just really quickly, is Henderson definitely?
I mean, Nick Pope plays in front of a defence that's sort of under siege quite a lot, but also a good defence. Whereas if you throw him into a defence that doesn't have to defend a lot but is awful at it, it's going to be a whole different ball game.
It's quite common knowledge that Burnley allow their keeper to make one type of save because they low block. So when they low block, Nick Pope has a smaller area. He's a very good goalkeeper, don't get me wrong, but he has a less of the goal to manage because the defence is so heavily relied upon to negate certain sections of Nick Pope's goal. So even though he's brilliant as a goalkeeper, if you put him behind our defence, he'd cry.
Yeah.
That's not his fault. That's just so for me. Yeah, and Henderson's obviously younger, probably has a higher ceiling.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, Botman obviously Lille are top of the French league. Botman's a massive part of that. Skriniar is obviously a class player, but again, a back three player, back into Inter Milan's plans. But so we picked Botman in, Davinson Sanchez out, and final
one. Final one. To be honest, I struggled on a final one. But I was thinking maybe another left back, but then with Sessegnon coming back, we'd have too many left backs is the only issue.
He plays left back. It seems very much like he wants to be a left winger, doesn't he? But then Hoffenheim have been playing as a left back, so
yeah,
very confusing.
Because I was thinking we could maybe get Tagliafico in because he wouldn't cost that much, and then I think he'd probably be an upgrade on Ben Davies, really. But
yeah, I think that was very fair. He's an Argentinian international. Was looked at by Chelsea and us and United, wasn't he, in that great left back race?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. The person I said, and we'll finally link to a call, was Sabitzer. But we only bring Sabitzer if we bring his dad in. Nagelsmann, and we'll try to keep this short because we're not saying we want Mourinho gone. I said to Ross before we started recording, if you could get rid of Mourinho right now and bring in Nagelsmann, what would you say? And Ross's answer surprised me. What was it, Ross?
Yeah, I said no because I mean, Nagelsmann has made like two teams better, obviously, so he's a good rebuild manager. But I feel like, we've got to give Mourinho more time. He can turn this squad around and he could win a trophy this season. So I think it's a bit too soon to want to bin him off. Like, give him till the end of the season at least. See how he does.
No, well, we're talking about the end of the season, Ross. We're talking at the end of the season. What do we do? And I know it's difficult to say right now, but we're not finishing in the top four, I don't think.
Yeah, but if we win a trophy...
All right, Ross, we win the Carabao Cup and we finish 6th.
Keep him.
Keep him.
Yeah, I know it's not popular, but I'd keep him. I think you could build on that winning mentality.
Hi, Kobe. Do you think we should get Nagelsmann or stick with Mourinho, mate? Please let us know. And Julian Nagelsmann, great man. I think his great pressing ability would do wonders. Fossil football. You've got the wrong profile picture to be saying fossil football will not win at all. No, for me, I don't want to necessarily see Mourinho out, but much like the only reason Chelsea kind of pulled the trigger so quickly on Frank was so that Dele's overhead kick was far technically better than Giroud's, so just make it clear.
Yeah, it's just like, watch this.
Oh, Kobe's the Norwich fan, I think. Kobe's been in a few times. Yeah, and we've just discussed Skip Kobe, and absolutely a replacement for Sissoko / rotation for Højbjerg. Absolute dream. Guys, why the fuck are you coming now? Like, we've just done an hour podcast, and the people are coming in now. For me, Ross made a very good point. Why would Nagelsmann come to Tottenham? And it's a very fair point. We're not in a good shape. We haven't worked under Poch, and we have worked under Poch, but we haven't worked under the end of Poch, and Mourinho's not working. So why would Nagelsmann go, yeah, all right, cool? But at the same time...
He could wait a year, get any job in the world, or come to us.
At the moment, there's a window where they're all, apart from Barcelona...
Barcelona and Real Madrid, sort of those managers are on thin ice, I'd say.
Oh, sorry, just here we go again. Jose Mourinho is probably the only manager out there right now who can repeat the same cycle at 3 different clubs from the same league and still have people think he's not the issue. Oh, that's where you're wrong, though, because he hasn't even done the success with us yet. So same cycle. One did it against Atleti, one did it against a trash team. Doesn't matter. Still a technically better goal.
Yeah, it's a technically better goal. It doesn't mean that it was against a better team.
Giroud's meant more. It was a high pressure moment, and it was against a better keeper. But All Blacks still not getting a hand to Dele's. And Dele bounced it up from the ground rather than plucking it out of the air. Like, technically, Dele Alli's was better. But, you know. Anyway, for me, I say Nagelsmann only because of the hope factor right now. I don't have the hope factor with Mourinho. And there's no lol, Jay, you fucking arsehole. I'm not saying that right. This was meant to be a chat about Nagelsmann v Poch, but we're just turning it into a bicycle kick. Right. Dele Alli's overhead kick was technically better than Giroud's. That is not up for debate. However, Giroud's was against a better team, a better goalkeeper, and meant more because Dele Alli's was the 5th goal and Giroud's was the 1st. On that note, it's still half-time against Atletico Madrid. You're only 1-0 up. Look at Ajax. Look at Liverpool. Look at Liverpool v Barca. There's still a fuck you all. Fuck you all. Okay, he's come back. Yes, good. He is. I agree. I think he's a very, very good manager. And for me, Mourinho, I can't believe I'm going to say this because we've just said that we don't want to be Chelsea. But let Mourinho show us that we can win a trophy and then let Nagelsmann rebuild with a core.
Yeah, one worry I would have with getting rid of Mourinho as well is that apparently Kane really likes him. So I wouldn't want to get rid of someone that Kane likes. So I want to keep Kane at all costs.
The issue, though, is who's spending £150 million on Kane? And I don't think anyone is. So in that logic, I think he's quite safe.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Anyone after this season, fans will get... Well, come on, not anyone after this season, is it? Like, come on, we're not getting Pulis in. We're not getting Pardew in. Just can't. Fans will get the benefits of the stadium review of probably being high for a rebuild. You see, the thing is, if we could give Mourinho £300 million, he'd be fine. He would. But it's the same argument level at Pep. Pep can't do it without a City, a Bayern, or a Barcelona. Like, yes, he did it with Porto. That was 2001. Like, so I think Mourinho is a good manager, but exactly, and we're not going to get more depth. But we have tried to get more depth, and that depth is Bergwijn. That depth is God Winks.
Well, also like.
I think
recent signings, 2 have been loans, and one's been rode on from the Championship on a sort of cheap deal.
I think Jay raises the best point there, actually, because Mourinho isn't what Spurs is about. Is he?
Yeah, definitely. Like, you won't want to watch Mourinho-esque football all the time.
Exactly. So I think that I know you said you want to keep him, Ross, but does that not just totally contradict that?
I don't want to keep him forever. I just want to keep him maybe another season or so.
I think we should. Well, if we win that trophy, if we shithouse Man City to a 1-0 win or penalties, and we show the players this is how to do it, and then but at the same time, Jose Mourinho is not Tottenham. He isn't Tottenham. Tottenham have always played Pochettino style football.
It's always been great football. Maybe not to great effect in terms of it's been more cups than leagues, but
I think we're done. I think we're hitting the hour mark now. Cheers for everyone that's engaged with this. It's a conversation that sounds so simple when you begin it. And there's so many tangents, and there are people paid a lot of money to work out how to make Tottenham better than they are right now, and
Yeah.
they're not.
Well, just on the final point of making Tottenham better, just thinking, could there have been a worse time to build our new stadium?
No, and it's such a big issue, isn't
Like,
it?
it just like absolutely ruined Poch's sort of like title building momentum. And then now that we should be sort of like a sustainable club with this big stadium that generates a lot of money for transfers, no one can go in it. So we're still looking for cheap deals.
Chapat, we've won a trophy in our, we have won trophies. We are the first team.
We won a trophy with one day Ramos, who almost got us relegated. We can do it.
Exactly. So that's it really. There's a lot of tangents there, and we don't know the answer. But cheers for watching us try to wrap it out and work out that Tottenham have 9 players worthy of starting. So that's good. Cheers a lot. Cheers a lot. Cheers a lot for us. Whatever that means. And I saw
well.
Oh, indeed. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.